You're probably asking yourself, hey, what the fuck happened at 9:30? Good question, dude. My brunch place, they used to open at 8, so I thought I could sneak it in beforehand, but for whatever reason, they changed their opening time to 9. So you think I'm giving up on brunch? I fucking love that place. Chilaquiles all day long. Oh, sí. It's the best, man. It is the best. So I had to go do that, and there was no way I could get in and out and back to the house in 30 minutes. So we moved it to 9:40, but we're still here. We still got plenty of time to talk about everything. Let's see. What I want to do is I want to go over a couple of things from the Rosetta Stone, because if you didn't see, there were some, I don't know if I should say significant changes, but there were definitely some changes between the rough draft and the final draft. And so I just want to touch on a couple of those, why I changed them, and so on and so forth. So you still have 1 hour and 20 minutes to make a really good cash lineup, right? Because if you don't know, a lot of the good games, most of the value plays I'm playing are at 11 o'clock. So basically your what's it called? Your cash lineup is going to pretty much be locked. Did he tell everybody that we're live? Fucking tell them we're live. All right, we're live. He said it. You get to keep your job, editor. All right, so some quick changes that I made. You can see ownerships in, all that. All right, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about my build, and then we'll go from there, brother. If you got questions, hop in there. Ask them. Ask away. I'm here to help you. I'm cutting my brunch short just for you, you mother fathers. Let's see. Some guys that I changed. I'm pretty sure I moved. A lot of this is off memory. I'm sorry. I don't fucking write down every change I make between the rough draft and the final draft, but I'm pretty sure I moved Robbie Ashford over to a cash play. Just because with that 30-point team total and 5,200, yes, he's not a very efficient quarterback, but man, he runs the ball a decent amount. So when you have that rushing floor and you have a big team total, even if he does only pass for 50% or some shit like that, I still think he's very viable. Plus, man, if you've been building a cash lineup, you've been fucking around with it all day or all night and all morning like I have, you're going to see like you need some fucking savings. You need it. And so at 5,200, I think he is a very viable cash play on DraftKings. 8,500, I'm not paying 8,500 for him over on FanDuel. So I kept him as just a high upside guy because in this environment with his legs and a 30-point team total, if this game shoots out, Robbie Ashford will be a nuts play. But on DraftKings at 5,200, I think he's viable. I was leaning to Garrett Schrader over him. Garrett Schrader is a guy I moved up. The more I looked at it, I was like, I don't want to play him against Notre Dame's defense. But then I went and looked against, who did he play? NC State and Clemson the last 2 weeks. He put up over 20 points against both of those teams. And at worst, those teams have at least as good of a defense as Notre Dame, probably better. So I bumped him up to a cash play once again, just because he's 5,900. No way I'm playing him in cash over on FanDuel at 9,700. So I did bump him up, basically just because you need those quarterbacks under 6,000, and him and Ashford to me made the most sense as $5,000 quarterbacks to get in there. Guys, it'll probably get you 20 points. Don't love Schrader's game environment, and I don't love Ashford's efficiency. But when you're dealing with $5,000 quarterbacks, you don't fucking get everything you want. Okay. I will say, somebody in the Discord, apologize, my brain's a little fuzzy right now, just put out a thing saying that Garrett Schrader's a little banged up from the Clemson game last week and could be limited. That's probably enough to scare me. That's probably enough to scare me off. I don't know. I guess I just want to hear word that he's starting, because Notre Dame's got some big old nasty motherfathers too that'll fucking, hurt you. So I think those were the two big quarterback changes. Cash changes I made for quarterback. I'm trying to see. The other one I really want to know, I have a really great cash lineup I love. It has Nixon in it, Jaden Nixon from Oklahoma State, but we got to get word that Dominic Richardson's out. Richardson doesn't go off till 2:30, so I would say at best we would get official word at that at 1 o'clock. But, it's college football. It's probably going to be closer to 2 o'clock, right? So, anyways, as far as receivers go, my current build is I'm punting at quarterback. To me, I built and I built and I built, and I could not get to Malik Cunningham. I couldn't get to Hartman. I couldn't get to these guys that are $8,000. I just couldn't get to them. I couldn't get to them and like my roster because there's nowhere to punt at receiver. And so what I found myself doing at receiver is currently my build. I believe I have Xavier Hutchinson, Emeka Ibuka. Now that Smith Najigba is officially out, according to my dude Cowpoke, I haven't seen that, but he knows his shit, so I'm going to take him at face value. I've actually got both of them in my lineup, and then I think I have a variation where I have Mayer in there, And then I have a variation where I went and played this Dimitri Stanley at $3,200 punt because it just makes me have such a good lineup. I told you I hate punting in a lineup just to punt, but man, that one $3,200 guy, if he just gets 5 catches for 50 yards, you're probably fine. It's against OU, and let's face it, OU is not the best. So I've messed around with that. I also bumped Quinton Johnson up to cash. I think he's a viable play. I think he's basically the same as Emeka Ibuka. He has a bigger ceiling, but he also has a lower floor. So probably Ibuka is a safer play, but if you want just raw upside, I think Quinton Johnson has a higher upside than Ibuka just as a usage monster, right? Because Ibuka, yes, he's in a more efficient offense, but there's more mouths to feed in that offense. Michael Mayer, man, I just want to have him in there. Not because I love him this week. 5,600 is getting up to a reasonable price tag. Like, there is a chance he only scores 15 points this week and is pretty marginal. However, it does seem like he will get at least 12 points. And I challenge you, go find me any other wide receiver in the 5,000s that you will guarantee, you bet your firstborn child will get you at least 12 points. I think Michael Mayer is the only one you can say that about. So I really want to get him in my cash lineup. I want my 3 receivers to be Mayer, Ibuka, and Hutchinson. But when you do that, I mean, it just gets to be a math game, right? Well, now you can't have all those running backs and quarterbacks you want. So that's why I've been really messing around with Jefferson, Ashford, and Schrader at quarterback. And then at running back, I've really started to catch a lot of steam myself personally. I've really warmed up. I love Ibrahim. I think I might even like him more than Chase Brown. But honestly, I'd rather just play them both. I think they both get 25 touches. I think they both have 30-point upside. I think they both are probably priced about $500 to $800 too low. And more than anything in college football, I want volume from my running backs, right? In the NFL, you hardly ever see running backs get over 20 touches. But in college, it's like normal to see 25 to 30. And more importantly, those touches in college football mean so much more because they average 6-7 yards a carry, whereas in the NFL, they average like 3, right? So those touches are so much more valuable. And this is why I value running backs so much more in cash game, college football, than I do in NFL, which I don't play cash game NFL. So I guess that's easy. The other thing, I really like Bucky Irving from Oregon. You know, I'm still a little nervous that he's the new shiny toy and people are maybe getting out ahead of their skis and assuming he's a bell cow when he's really not. And then the other one that really makes your lineups work, sorry, the carbs are kicking in. The brain's a little slow right now. Thanks, brunch. Where the hell's my 52? CJ Donaldson from West Virginia. I would really love to get word that Justin Johnson's out. So if anybody's heard anything on that, let's go see. Justin Johnson Jr. real quick. Let's see if we can. You can see I was already searching Schrader. I would love to get word because if he's out, you know, the problem with our boy Donaldson is, don't forget, it was just last week that he got in trouble for fumbling the ball. Fuck. Justin Johnson's in. So right there you go. That's straight from literally 1 minute ago. So I don't think that makes me want to get off of him, but it also doesn't make him like you've got to play this guy no matter what, right? So last week they did a time split, and I'm pretty sure it was something along the lines of 18 to 10 or something like that. I will say he does seem to get more of the passing game. That's tough. It is a competitive environment, a high total. So basically to me, it's like, do you want to play Donaldson or do you want to play Bucky Irving? That's tough. You know, in a dream world, this is why I just want to get Ibrahim and Chase Brown in there. That's what I want to do. And I want to have Hutchinson. And I want to have Ibuka. It's like you can't play all these guys unless you punt. And I'm telling you, don't do this. Don't do it. But if I had to punt, I like Dimitri Stanley. 5 targets last week. He's going to be probably in a game script where they're going to be passing the ball, and OU's defense is notorious for just letting guys fly around and get the fuck open. So that's a punt to consider. I've seen a couple of you have sent me lineups saying, what do you think of this? And it has Span Ford. I think Span Ford is okay as a punt, but fuck, there's a chance Minnesota might pass this ball legit 10 times all fucking game. Legit all. If you want a sneaky one, here was one I was messing around with. Michael Sturdivant, Michael Sturdivant from Cal, I think is very viable in cash just because his targets have been going up and up and up and up as people have been hurt. Cal is probably going to be in a script where they are going to be playing from behind and passing, and he does seem to be their number one. But the one thing I would say about this is if you can spend $5,200 on Sturdivant, can't you just go spend $5,600 on Michael Mayer? That's what I would say to that, right? But maybe the answer is you play them both, right? Maybe that's because Sturdivant's targets these last few games have been crazy. And if you don't know, all we want is targets. We want our guy on the field. We want him getting targets, and we want them in a fast game pace. And Oregon Cal is probably going to be a pretty fast game pace. You just have to wonder, can Jack Plummer, which don't forget there was once a good Jay Plummer in the Big Ten, or excuse me, the Pac-10, but it wasn't Jack, it was Jake. So can he get him the ball? To be determined. My life would just be so much easier if I could just get word that Dominic Richardson was out today. I'd just go throw Jaden Nixon in there and just not even worry about it. $4,900, too good of a price. My top 2 running backs are definitely Chase Brown and Ibrahim, but if you need the extra $200, I don't think you should lose any sleep if you're playing Sean Tucker or Deuce Vaughn. I think in both of those worlds, I think I'd rather have Deuce Vaughn over Sean Tucker. I have to assume Notre Dame's got some big old scary monsters. I also think Kendre Miller is very viable at cash, and so is Raheem Sanders. But I'll say this about Raheem Sanders. As I've done more lineup building, I don't love a Jefferson Sanders stack. Right? I just think there's too many other places to be cannibalizing your own points. Right? That week that I did it, there wasn't a lot of great options out there. Hold on. Go into the mocha latte. All right, so that's all the information. You see I've updated some stuff. We got ownership on there now. Justin Johnson is in. I still think C.J. Donaldson, so we can go ahead and take this off. And I'm going to assume he's low-owned. So what color I need to make him? Green. We'll be doing oh, no, now he's gone. Oh, no. Go fix it, editor. I made him disappear. Whoa. All right, I'm going to go answer some questions now. What's up, Blink182? Brett, let's go, you motherfather. Matt, still playing 3 running backs in cash. I have Jefferson and Deckers in my cash. Man, I get Deckers. I really do. But Deckers fucking sucks. Like, I know OU's defense is like Swiss cheese a lot this year, but man, Deckers is inefficient and he's not a huge running threat. Like he's kind of chubby. He's kind of slow. And I just, I don't know. I don't like Deckers. If you're going to play Deckers in cash, I'm telling you, just go play Ashford in cash. And yes, Ashford fucking sucks too. He's inefficient as shit, but he has a higher team total. He's in a better game environment. He's playing a secondary from Arkansas that's beat the fuck up. But most importantly, Matt, is Robbie Ashford has 80-yard rushing upside. Hunter Deckers has negative 80 yards rushing upside. So that's what I would say to that. In cash. Now, if you want to play like a GPP script where Hunter Deckers is and then double stack him with Hutchinson and Stanley or Noel, that's fine. But I just don't like him in cash. I don't think there is a script where OU wins this game 28-7 today and Deckers gets 5 points. That is a real script that could happen. I don't see any way Robbie Ashford, outside of getting hurt or getting pulled because he's playing terrible, doesn't get at least 15 points. That's what I would say to that. Let's keep the winning going. You're telling me, Nick, man, if I hit today is to go 16-20. That is the goal. That'd get me up to 80%. That's a big number. Chris Walton, let's ride. Let's do it, brother. Nick, yes, he did. The nine of us that play that are here. Sir, there's over 40 people in here, Nick. You watch your mouth. Okay? The college football DFS part of the Discord is growing, you motherfather. Michael, just picked up my first batch of ranch water. Love to see it. I will tell you this, Michael. Do me a favor. If you picked it up, that makes me think you bought the pre-made ones. That ain't real ranch water. Real ranch water is a bottle of Topo Chico. It's got to be Topo Chico. Okay, that's Mexican carbonated water. Blue agave tequila. 1/2 of a lime, a pinch of salt. You got to make it. That's what makes it refreshing. If you're the ones that they make for you, they may be okay, but I'm telling you, you just can't beat the freshness of a good one. Chris Arbos. Walker Howard, thoughts if Martinez is out? Definitely in GPPs. No way I'm playing a backup quarterback from K-State that I know nothing about in my cash lineup, Chris. But in a GPP, I think he's a great flyer. A great flyer, actually. And yes, there is a lot of, if you guys haven't heard, there is a real rumor out there that Adrian Martinez from K-State will be out today. And by the way, that actually makes me like Deuce Vaughn less. That makes me like Deuce Vaughn less, actually. Brett, thoughts on playing Stanley and Hutchinson in the same lineup for cash? Yeah, Brett, I currently have 4 versions of my cash lineup, and one of them does have Hutchinson and Stanley in there. I guess I don't fucking hate it, right? That's what I'd say about that one. Favorite GPP quarterbacks? Oh, well, I mean, that K-State one is very viable. I think you can never go wrong with Max Duggan, especially if you can find some punts that you're okay playing with him. I think Deckers, there is a game script where Deckers has 5 touchdowns today, and Iowa State just fucking passes all over OU. Definitely not Pine. I mean, CJ Stroud's always live. It's just hard to pay for him. If you're talking DraftKings, Nick, I would probably say my sneakiest one. Sam Hartman's a really good one that everybody's just ignoring. 34-point team total. The guy slings it around. And I think that UL can push him. But if I had to say my favorite one on the slate, Nick, probably Malik Cunningham and GPPs. I think, yes, he could put a 40 burger up and it wouldn't be weird. He could also put up a 12 burger, but that's what we do in GPPs, right? We're just chasing that upside. This is why I ultimately got off Malik Cunningham in my cash lineup. A, I couldn't fit him in just because of the price tag. And B, I can't afford to have an $8,000 guy with a 12-point floor. I couldn't do it, Bob. Couldn't do it. Willis at 4,000 is viable. I assume you're talking about Braden Willis from my Sooners. I mean, I'll tell you this. Braden Willis is OU's best player. Like, he's their best player, but he's not a great DFS player. He's just not. I watch every game. I know the guy. He blocks a lot. He basically only gets his targets whenever they're doing little RPOs and they, get all the linebackers sucked in. They drop it over the top to him. And so, yes, he is viable, but in cash, there's just no way I'm playing a guy that gets 4 targets a game. Just no way. Not doing it. I think Willis is viable in a GPP lineup, and that's it. And even there, you got to ask yourself, because if you don't know, he's an H-back, which for all of you that aren't so football inclined is basically a glorified tight end, right? And you got to ask yourself, what is the upside of a tight end? And you say, well, Michael Mayer's good. I mean, like, him and Brock Bowers are kind of in a category on their own. I don't think anybody else really qualifies like that. All right, Brett says, Kostic in the Discord just said the RB Ward from FSU not seen in warm-ups. Okay, now that's interesting. Let's see. Let's go over here to FSU because they already have one of their running backs is already out, right? Where the fuck is Florida State? What are we doing, Bob? All right. So you're saying, Kostic in the Discord just said Ward is out. So if Ward is out, then you really got to start thinking about Toafili. $3,900. That might be the smash play because they are already missing somebody. Who the fuck were they already missing? I'm trying to remember. Let me go over here and look real quick. Let's see. We're looking at this. They're already Jesus. This is just great. This is great television right now. All right. So we're looking at Florida State. They're already minus Well, you have Florida State. I have some notes over here. All right. So yeah, Ward. Yeah, Ward's their normal running back that's out. So it's basically, wait. Who are we saying is out? I'm so confused right now. Yeah, Ward. We already knew Ward was out though, so never mind. I was thinking of. Am I thinking of Benson? Is that who they normally have? Yeah. So this shouldn't say Ward. This should say Benson. Hey, editor, you might want to go change Ward to Benson here. Well, it doesn't really matter. The people that would read it. So this Ward needs to not be on there because he is out, and it should be Benson. All right, thanks for telling me that, guys. There's a lot of news if you don't know, and it's very disparate. Woody for the wing. Can you play Ashford and Jefferson and Cash together? Absolutely. Matter of fact, I even kind of like it, right? Because if that game does go off, they're both probably going to go at each other, right? And if you're thinking, well, if it doesn't shoot out, then I'm double fucked at quarterback. Well, if you're probably fucked at either quarterback, you're already done. So you might as well just bet that this game is going to have some pace to it, and these guys are going to get there and get it done with their legs. Matter of fact, I would probably say those are my 2 favorite cash game quarterbacks right now, now that I'm kind of getting nervous on Schrader, Woody. Ward for FSU, not seen in warm-ups. Okay, but I think we already knew that. I think we were already planning on Ward being out. I had him on the thing like a dumbass. I think that was supposed to be Benson on there. It was supposed to be Benson. This is supposed to be Benson. Let's see if I go put Trey Benson in there, what it does. That's not how you spell Trey, you dumbass. Trey Benson. Look at that. And it just autofills. Look at the dude P. Lewis in the house. So, yeah, I don't know how much that changes. I think it's just, I should have had Benson in there, I think. Because I think we were already kind of leaning towards him being out. What's up, mother brothers? What's up, Zach? Got 5,200 left for flex. If you got 5,200, you probably go C.J. Donaldson. Yes. And I would say also keep in your back pocket switching in Jaden Nixon down here at 4,900. But I'm pretty sure this Donaldson game is an 11 o'clock game, so you're basically locked in. You got to play that motherfather. Oh, for GPP? Well, then, yeah. What you could do is you could put Donaldson in there, and you could go remake that exact lineup if you really like it, and then just go put Nixon in the flex, and then hope that Richardson's out, and then have another sneaky lineup. And if he goes off, you could have 2 real shots at winning. I don't know how much, how many lineups you like to play, but that is a strategy to consider. And then if Nixon ends up, or if Richardson does play and Nixon's not going to get much run, you just go play some punt wide receiver and hope that they smash, right? You just go switch to Isaiah Williams or maybe one of these Wake receivers or something like that. You could go play Huggins Bruce, something like that. Just giving you some ideas, man. Jason Reed says, love Ashford today. Also trying to get Cunningham. Louisville line dropping with 70% money on Wake. Both of these QBs running wild today. Yeah, I'm telling you, in GPPs, I don't know how you don't try to get Malik Cunningham in at least 25% of your lineups. I love him. He's my favorite play today. I just have built enough cash lineups. You just can't get him in there. You can't get him in there because I want Ibrahim in my cash lineup. I want Chase Brown in my cash lineup. I want Hutchinson in my cash lineup. I want Abuka in my cash lineup. And when you do those things, you literally just can't have $8,000 quarterback. And so you have to prioritize somewhere. And I decided I would rather punt at quarterback than I would at receiver because, Ashford and KJ Jefferson, even though they're punts, I still feel like they're going to get me 20 points. And then it lets me have access to the 2 best receivers on the slate and the 2 best running backs on the slate, in my opinion. KJ Jefferson from Arkansas. Yeah. Favorite cash plays. I've basically been talking about the whole time Rick rolled. If I had to, I guess if I were to give you one, my favorite, probably straight. No, my favorite quarterback cash play is probably Jefferson. I don't know. I just think he's a little bit better of a quarterback than Ashford. My favorite running back is probably Ibrahim. I don't know. I watch this guy just kill everybody. I feel like he's in line for 25 to 30 touches. Him or Chase Brown are probably my favorite. And then my favorite receiver is Xavier Hutchinson. I just know what he's going to do to OU. If Iowa State blows him out, Hutchinson has a big game. If it's a shootout, Hutchinson has a big game. If Iowa State gets blown out, Hutchinson has a big game. It's like no matter what, he's going to have a big game. I just know my Sooners. A normal coach would look and say, hey, they've got this amazing receiver. Let's game plan that guy out. OU says, no. I got a better plan. Let's just not fucking guard him. Or let's put him against 5'4" cornerbacks on an island. Thinking. All right. You like Hartman and Perry? Jeremy, I definitely do a lot in a GPP. I would never play a Hartman, Perry, and cash. That's just too much money to be spending on a combo, especially as much as Wake likes to run the ball. Don't forget, they're running backs. You can see between those running backs, we're talking, what is that, 13? That's 24 touches or 24 rushes a game just between those two. Now, in a GPP, I love Hartman and Perry. Run it back with Cunningham and go maybe get one of his punt guys and see if he throws a couple bombs to him. Nick says, do you like Bigsby and GPPs? I love Bigsby and GPPs. Love him. I wanted to get him in cash, but you can't play $5,400 Bigsby when you've got Donaldson and Bucky Irving from Oregon out there. They're just such safer plays, right? There is a chance that Auburn fucking sucks today and they're not efficient and their offense doesn't move. And that's what scares me about Ashford. But at the same time, $5,200 quarterbacks with 30-point team totals that can run, it offers a pretty safe floor. I mean, outside of him fumbling or throwing interceptions, getting pulled early, I just don't see any way he doesn't get me 15 points. And as we saw last week, he has 30-point upside. He sure do. Let's see, live streaming. Look at that. We were up to 40-something for a while. Let's go. All right. So that's where we're at. Let's see if there's any other news. Any other Justin Johnson news. So the Justin Johnson being in, good news. Be Justin play. All right, so he's playing. I got to tell you, man, that probably makes me like Bucky Irving more. Probably makes me like, but I mean, I think we were already assuming that Johnson was going to play. I don't know. Part of it in cash is you got to think, if everybody's playing this, do I really want to be the one guy to miss out? So I don't think that you X Donaldson off, especially if he makes one of your lineups work. I think he's still cash viable. I would have just thought he is undisputed. You have to play him if Justin Johnson were out. But it doesn't. Obviously, Justin Johnson's playing. So now I think he is just a cash play consideration, not a cash play you have got to play or you're a fucking moron. Okay? All right. Any last questions? I'm still going to go best punt running back. Well, I mean, I guess you got to determine what's a punt. I guess if you're just talking straight price, Donaldson at 5,200, Bucky Irving at 5,700, and I guess if you really want a cheap punt, I guess you could go do Tofafili from Florida State. There you go, but only in a GPP. Or you could put in Jaden Nixon and hope that Dominic Richardson's out. Those are some ones to consider. Who do you think the highest cash player owned today is? I'm thinking Donaldson probably. I'm thinking probably Donaldson. Donaldson or Irving will probably be it. People love a good value at running back. Because running back in college football DFS is so important. And by the way, this isn't even debatable. You've got to run three running backs today, okay? So your flex has to be a running back. You look at me. In your cash lineup, your flex needs to be a running back. Without exception. There's just not enough good wide receiver options on this slate to justify having 4 wide receivers in your lineup. Furthermore, yes, this is most of you are playing DraftKings, and I understand they do full point PPR, but running backs are so much more involved and so much more efficient in college than they are in NFL. So if you're one of those guys who plays the NFL cash game and you're used to always putting a wide receiver in your flex, this ain't that, homie. This is another game. You're playing a different game. You should always have a quarterback in your super flex and almost always have a running back in your flex, especially today with all the value being there, right? So that's what I'm telling you. It's non-negotiable. If you're like, I didn't cash today, what did I do wrong? Well, you fucking put a receiver in the flex on a day when it's running back central. That's what you did wrong. So don't do it. I'm not saying you're going to pick the right running backs, and I'm not even saying to be the best play. All I can do is put you in the best positive EV plays and hope it works out. I can make the best perfect cash lineups, but there's still this thing called variance, and shit still happens. It still has to work out. I just try to get in plus EV plays. Here's a great example. Last night, it cashed 2-game slate. It was like me and 5 other people had the exact same lineup on a double up, and this one guy left $2,000 on the table and went and played, what was it? One of the other quarterbacks over Jaron Hall. So basically, he decided to leave the best player off of his team to go play a lesser quarterback and leave $2,000 on the table. Now, that quarterback ended up getting like 23 points and Jaron Hall got like 22, right? So this guy hit his ceiling, Jaron Hall hit his floor, and so he actually ended up getting a true double up where the rest of us just kind of got a quasi double up, right? And a lot of people say, oh, I'm so smart. Look at me. I beat all you guys. But really, he's a dumb fuck. And what he doesn't understand is he made a very negative EV play, and he sucked out and got there, right? It's like when you're beat at poker, and you're going to call on that belly buster straight because of your pride or what the fuck ever, and then you get there, and you're like, I won $500 tonight. Well, you didn't. I mean, yes, you did win the money, but you only got there because you're a fucking luck sack and donkey dick, right? Not because you did anything right. So all you can do in cash game is continue to make plus EV plays, right? Put the better guys in your lineups, and then just assume in the long run those better plays are going to outperform the worst plays in the long run. That's all we can do. The fact that I'm batting 78% at college football cash game, that's just because variance has been very good to me. Yes, I'm making very plus EV lineups, but even with that, with some bad variance, you could still be only hitting 50% or maybe even less of those lineups. I've just been having good variance and plus EV lineups. And so all of that to say, go put in the plus EV plays. That was a long way of saying it. Do we talk cheap, decent cash receivers? Yeah, Zach, here it is. There are none, Bob. That's what it is. What I said is I have Dimitri Stanley as an absolute punt in one of them, and I hate it. You should not have a guy like that in your cash lineup. It's fucking a stupid play. But I love him. I love what it does to the rest of my lineup. I like Mayer. That's about as cheap as I can go and really feel comfortable giving any type of blessing. I threw Sturtevant out there at 5,200. I don't love him, but his targets have been going up and up and up and up. They are going to be in a fast-paced game, and he probably will be the target monster, so he does make a lot of sense, but 5,200 is not exactly a cheap price tag, though. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's where we're at. Jean Gustafson says, wide receiver in the flex and a QB in the super flex, 10-4. Okay, he's trying to piss me off. I just go on that whole diatribe about negative EV plays, and you're going to talk about wide receiver in the flex. About to about to send you back up to the mountains. Last night was great. Yeah, Nick, we've been on a heater, man. I hope it continues. If I've learned anything from DFS, anything that feels like you can never lose, you'll lose. So I'm being cautious today, even though I am doing way too much money in cash lineups today. No GPPs. I just love building. You know what I've been thinking about is instead of just doing one cash lineup today, because I think I'm doing roughly around $1,000 in cash lineups, maybe doing 3 cash lineups and basically doing about 350 of each of them, right? 350 on this one, 350 on this one. So basically I have a little bit of flex room if this guy ended up being a better play than this guy. So I might end up doing that. I don't know. I'm going to go fuck around and look. Only got 50 minutes until kick. I still need to go get some shit locked in. Please be in the college football Discord telling me if you see any news. The only news that's broke so far that seems pretty significant is that Justin Johnson Jr. is playing. But I have to tell you, I don't think that's really going to slow down C.J. Donaldson that much. If he's not fumbling the ball, he's probably going to get most of the work. All you got to worry about is can West Virginia run the ball on TCU? But even if not, he'll probably still be involved in the passing game. All right, guys, we will talk to you later. Actually, I hope I talk to you soon here in the Discord. Hey, you're welcome, Jim. Excuse me, Jean. Talk to you guys later.